So I've made a massive decision and probably a massive mistake. I'm giving you guys the chance to pick the content that we make. So if you've got a video request that you really want to see, put it in the comments below, and the most liked comment or video idea we will make. And if you guys like it and it works well, I'll probably do it every third video or so, just to give you guys regular input into the channel, and us as creators can make sure we're actually giving you guys what you want to see. So get those ideas in that comment section below, and we could be making your video. It probably won't be the very next video after this because we've already started filming the next one, but it'll probably be the next one following that. And obviously anything within reason we'll make. If there's anything stupid like fly to Australia, play 18 holes and fly back on the same day, obviously like no ridiculous requests, but if it's around equipment and what we do, we'll absolutely make it.
Yeah. I would say this is like a pretty good drive, but it's certainly not optimal, right? If I wanted to improve this shot to get the maximum distance out of that 95.5 with that delivery, like where would you go?
In this instant, it's always going to be better to go.
I mean, 15 yards carry is not insignificant on the golf course.
No, it's massive.
Yeah,
massive.
And you haven't had to do any swing training, you haven't had to touch any swing sticks or do any squats. I'd say the biggest thing I learned when I was trying to get quicker.
I know so many other people have done videos about quick back, quick through. Yeah. I 100% lose speed if I do that.
Come on, and let's see one at your full speed. Come on, I know you want to show off.
You have a similar driver, you play a similar ball, and you even think you swing at a similar speed. So why is your golf buddy Dave bombing it 30 yards past you every Sunday morning? Well, if you're fed up of being outdriven and pulling out a 7-iron while Dave's up there pulling out a pitching wedge, and the only thing you need to massage after your round of golf is your slightly bruised ego, then you've struck gold, because this is the perfect video for you. Today, I'm going to be breaking down the 3 main variables that create distance, and we're going to be breaking them down and showing you exactly how to optimize them. So effectively showing you how to get as much distance as possible from your current swing speed, touching on both an equipment optimization perspective and a swing and delivery optimization perspective. And then later on, showing you what would happen if you did increase that swing speed. So let's get stuck in. And first of all, I'm going to be showing you a slightly suboptimal delivery paired with a slightly suboptimal driver, taking you through all of the numbers and then showing you how we can optimize them. That was pretty good. Looks a bit hot, doesn't it?
It does look hot, yeah.
A bit forward.
It does, yeah.
I think there's a reason for that, which we're just about to see.
Swing speed aiming for 95 miles an hour, so pretty close. And if we look at those factors that really create distance, efficiency, so in this case 1.43, we know that like a perfect energy transfer on quad would be around 1.45.
Yep.
Launch 9.2. So again, launching quite low, to be honest, especially at this speed for optimizing that distance. And it's also spinning a little bit low as well, sort of around that 2000. So, and that's from a pretty good strike. Yeah. You know, so if we talk about some of the things that will affect that efficiency, it is things like strike, face control. So in that instance, those were pretty good. Yeah. We got pretty decent efficiency at 1.43, but we didn't max out. Yes. I would say this is like a pretty good drive, but it's certainly not optimal, right?
No. And I mean, that's like you say, it's not bad, is it? I mean, you look at that and you go, well, why was that inefficient? And to be honest, like there isn't any particular reason you could pinpoint in that as to why it wouldn't be inefficient. Like you're just pointing there, it was 3 mil high, 3 mil heel. Now, to a lot of you guys at home, that will probably look ridiculous. Like, that's pretty good, but high heel is the least efficient part of the head you can hit it in.
Correct.
Like even though it's 3 mil, it will be having a slight effect. Yeah. And potentially the spin loft at 15, which is obviously, it's the difference between the angle of attack and loft. I mean, that's a very easy one to work out there because there's no number by that angle of attack because it was 0.
Yep.
And it was 15 degrees of loft. Therefore, the spin loft is 15, which is at the higher end. Sometimes you hit down with more loft, it's more of a glancing blow.
Correct.
That was obviously less efficient. So you're absolutely right in what you said. The strike face at impact was the face square, but then also loft does play a little bit of a factor in creating that efficiency as well. So the fact that we weren't hitting up at all, the strike was fractionally high heel, those two factors could be that sort of key to why it was still good efficiency. It's probably still 8.5 out of 10, you know, but 100%. Not quite a 10 out of 10.
Okay, if I wanted to improve this shot to get the maximum distance out of that 95.5 with that delivery? Like, where would you go?
Well, there's two factors that you can obviously, and we're fitters, right? So there's two places that you can always go. You go swing or club, right? In this instant, it's always going to be better to go swing.
Yeah.
Because like if we wanted to get the launch and spin up, fine, but you would just add more loft, which would create sort of less efficiency. So really, in my opinion, the best sort of way you would go about this is by increasing angle of attack.
Why don't we try and sort of emulate this? I know it's going to be tough to get it like identical, but let's try and emulate very similar delivery, but maybe hit a bit more up on the ball. So let's see if we can get to like 4 up.
4 up. Okay.
Yeah?
You're talking to the robot, mate. Easy. Easy.
Maybe we should just not cut and see how long it takes.
Just don't look at that shot count up
Exactly,
there.
yeah.
It's irrelevant. It's not even correct. 96 and 4.6 up.
Wow. And look at that difference.
Yeah, I mean, it would be an interesting one, right? Because again, we talk about efficiency and how the strike on the face affects the efficiency. That'd be an interesting one to touch on that.
So yeah, swing speed, I mean, pretty similar. I mean, you're talking like 0.8 of a degree, of a mile an hour. Degrees and miles an hour all over the place here. But yeah, so 0.8 of a mile an hour difference.
It's within human variance, isn't it? Like
100%. If somebody's swinging around 95, they're going to have the odd one. They swing, you know, mile an hour quicker, mile an hour slower. Yep. But again, delivery-wise, was still pretty good, still pretty neutral. A little bit from the inside, face closed. So hitting that little sort of functional draw, which is what you do. But we can really see that angle of attack jumping up now, 4.6, which is what we really wanted to see the difference of.
Yeah.
As a result, launch has come up to 15.5 from around, I think it was around 9.
Yeah.
That spin has come up slightly. To just under 2.4.
Yep.
Strike's actually really quite similar, to be honest. Couple of mil high, maybe 1 mil toe this time, but very similar. But look at that carry now. That carry's come up to 30, even with that efficiency coming down.
Yes.
So when we spoke earlier about the things that really will influence distance, it was efficiency, so the energy transfer, the amount of ball speed you're creating from your club head speed, and launch and spin.
Yeah.
So in this instance, we've increased launch into a much more optimal window for this speed. And we've got that spin in what I would call the optimal window as well, right? So you could argue even at 2000 probably was spinning a bit low with the last one. So depending on speed, you might want that to sit in a slightly different window. But in this instance, that's about right. And that's carried considerably further now at 230.
I'd say with less efficiency.
Correct.
So
yeah, it's done a pretty good job of showing what angle of attack can do, just as, you know, 4 up and what that can create, really.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that last one was also 3 mil high. I mean, when I hit that, it felt a bit high, which is why I was saying it's going to be interesting to talk about that from an efficiency standpoint and what the strike did to the efficiency. Because when I hit it, I thought, oh, that is a bit high. I reckon it's slightly higher than what that was showing, which is why that's inefficient. We know high on the face is not an efficient part of the head at all. Again, because of that gear effect where you hit it high and it will deflect the head that way. So it's almost like losing energy transfer because the head's deflecting with the ball. Whereas when you hit it lower, that's going to deflect down, and that's almost a far more solid hit. So it's very efficient low in the head, not efficient high in the head. But obviously if you hit it high in the head, it increases launch, decreases spin generally, relative, and therefore you get much better distance even though it's less efficient. You're right. So we hit way more up. So obviously the loft has come up with that as well. But that launch, like I say, the 9 to 15 is dramatically different, but the spin's not that different.
No, and I think a lot of that's coming from that spin loft, right? So if you imagine on that last shot, you were around 15 delivered loft, 14 or 15, I think.
Yes.
And obviously 0, so we said it was an easy one to work out. So your spin loft, which is the difference between those two numbers, was about 15. I mean, that's pretty similar. So all you've done is you've kind of you've tilted up the angle that you've hit the ball. You haven't actually delivered any more loft, which is fantastic, right? So you've just created a higher launch with a similar spin, which in that instance, I would have said on that last shot, the one thing that was really drawing back that maximized carry was probably launch. Just launching the ball too low at 9. So this is a really powerful way of showing like what angle of attack has done there. I mean, 15 yards carry is not insignificant on the golf course.
No, it's massive.
Yeah,
massive.
And you haven't had to do any swing training. You haven't had to touch any swing sticks or do any squats.
Yeah.
No bench press, and you've gained 15 yards right there.
But that's another one of the points that we needed to touch on. It's like everyone gets very obsessed with speed.
Yeah.
But have you maximized your current speed? Are you actually, as you're delivering a good spot, are you hitting up with a relatively square face, finding around the middle as much as you can? Obviously, we know it's difficult for amateurs. We're not always going to find the middle. But are you maximizing what you've got? Is your driver well fitted? you know?
Yep.
Even there, I mean, we've done ourselves out of a sale, and we do this quite a lot, to be honest, where I go, oh, this is how you hit up more, just do that, and then, oh, actually, now your driver's great for you.
Fine. Yeah, absolutely.
Which we've just done there.
Yes.
I could have gone, oh, that's launching and spinning too low. I need to give you more loft. And all I've done is teach someone how to hit 4 or 5 up on it. And now all of a sudden you've got very optimal numbers from your driver.
Yes.
So we've lost the sale, but we've done the right thing by the customer.
Yes,
and their
exactly
delivery is now better.
Exactly that. And I mean, if somebody walked in and they did that delivery and that strike and it was spinning at like 4,000 because they had like a 12-degree driver or something, then you'd be going, okay, maybe we need to go to a lower spin head, or we need to bring that much more into the optimal range.
Yeah.
Whereas in this instance, like this is getting pretty close to optimal.
So now let's see if we had that optimal delivery, but a suboptimal driver, how much distance would we actually be losing? I mean, that's quite an interesting one, right? Because that was 97.5 swing speed. So that was a mile an hour quicker than what we just did with the Elite.
Yeah, and strike's pretty good. Yeah, so now we're starting to see sort of a bit of an example about... So the reason we hit this club is we wanted to show what happens when we change loft of the driver, but then keep all of the other parameters the same for where it was optimal for when we hit the 10.5 degree Elite. So 5 up creates now 18 launch, but because we've added loft to the head, we're now spinning that at 3.7.
Yes.
We said earlier about what would feed into the distance, it was efficiency, launch, spin. So in this example, even though we've got launch into a better place by hitting more up, that efficiency's dropping because it's more of a glancing blow.
Yep.
We've added more loft.
Yep.
And now the spin is at 3.7.
Yep.
So we're now carrying it back at 213, around 213 again. Well, that's kind of where we carried the sort of the 0 degree angle of attack Elite.
It's one of the hardest things about fitting, right? Us going, do you want to change? Are you going to change, right? So for example, the very first one we hit, that person angle of attack was 0. So if we hadn't changed their angle of attack, we probably would have given them a 12-degree driver, right?
Get more launch.
Exactly.
Correct.
And then gone, go away and work on your angle of attack.
Yes.
Now they come back like this. So 5 degrees up, which is great. Really, really good. Now that spin loft is above 20, because we know that the pings, they do deliver quite a lot of loft anyway, these heads.
Yep.
But it's obviously a 12 degree. So spin loft goes way too high.
Yep.
Yeah, like you say, the launch is good, but the spin's way too much.
Correct.
And to be honest, we wanted to try and show an example of, well, how much distance would you get hurt if you just had a really incorrectly fitted driver? Like, because that's not a bad shot. Okay, it was a couple of mil low in the head. As you correctly said, we lost efficiency because there's just too much loft at impact, creating more of that glancing blow.
Yep.
So that is losing us efficiency. So lack of efficiency and way too much spin, it gets lost, was it about 17 yards? Yeah. And I think we could have actually got a more sort of efficient one earlier with that Elite anyway. So I actually think you could probably touch 235. Yeah. It's probably 20 yards.
Yeah.
So again, this is like, if you are going to go get fitted, look at all of these things. Like, they're so important. Pay attention to your angle of attack and think about, do you want to make a change? If you don't, fine. Get fitted for how you swing it, but understand what is optimal and what is not optimal. And if you are going to make a change, think about that club purchase, because if you go and make a change like this and you just bought a £500 driver 3 months ago, you're going to be pretty pissed off, right? So,
especially when you're watching all the YouTube stuff, right, where they're like, you need to hit up more to get more distance. Well, actually, if this person hits up more,
well, this is a point of like when people go, oh, yeah, but when I hit up more, it just seems to like go up and go nowhere. It's like, it's because you've got the wrong driver. Yeah. You know, you have to like, again, it's why coming and seeing people like us is so important, so we can explain all this to you. Because yes, hitting up is correct, but if you've got the right driver. And sometimes there's a little bit of that pain, sort of threshold pain barrier where you go, okay, maybe I have to learn to hit up with my driver, knowing it's going to be suboptimal for a while, but learn that technique, then change my driver. I'm going to jump 20, 25 yards. Yeah. Perfect. We are creeping towards that 50,000 subscriber mark. So if you want to be in with a chance of winning our 50,000 subscriber giveaway, you need to get down and hit that subscribe button now. And as always, thank you for your support.
So we've just run through a few examples there of what creates distance. So we looked at things like efficiency, spoke a bit about how efficiency is created, spoke a bit about launch, about spin and optimizing those. So providing you've got everything sorted, so you've got a well-fitted driver, your launch and spin are in a good place, you're hitting the middle of the face more often than you're not, how else can you get more distance?
Swing faster. Or at least train to try and swing faster.
There you go.
While maintaining control, obviously. But yeah, everyone, and I think that's why we touched on trying to optimize your current sort of speed first, because so many people are distance. But the vast majority of people that we see in here, they're not really optimizing their delivery. They're not practicing the right way. They're not practicing driver enough. So they're still hitting it all over the face, and their face control isn't great. So that's why I think, getting good at what you've got first and optimizing that, making sure you got the most out of that first before trying to gain loads and loads of speed, is probably the better way of doing it. And then once you are under more control of your delivery, your club face, your strike, now let's see if we can ramp up the speed, do a bit of speed training.
So yeah, there's always a bit of banter between friends, right? Like, oh, I've hit it past you. Oh, I've hit it past you. I do it with my mates on the weekend, and I always hit it past them. But
no, you don't.
But basically, I think a lot of people watch people swing, and they all sort of, oh, that guy swings fast, that guy swings slow. But I think the reality is seeing speed's really quite tough.
Yeah.
Like, I think actually, you can have people who look like this, they're moving quite slowly, but they've got a really super efficient swing.
Yeah.
And they create a lot of speed and a lot of power. You can have someone who looks really high effort, and actually all the high effort is in the wrong sequence, and actually they create quite low speed. So as an example, Ross has come up with a really good idea. I'm going to swing at my full speed, which for me is around 103 to 105. Depending on how warm I am, it sounds like I'm only going to get one go. And Ross is going to show him swinging at about that same speed, and you'll see kind of like the difference in what is perceived effort.
Yeah, it's just
a show.
Like you say, people always say,
fun.
I swing the same speed as my mate. But most people, they've never really actually compared data, right? They're just sort of assuming based on it looks like they swing the same speed.
Exactly.
It's like, he's always hitting it past me. It's like, well, you can't really see speed. It's very, very difficult to see speed. Look at that speed.
Sounds fast.
Sounds quick.
You watch when I get over the ball, it immediately goes down by 20% anyway.
It's a good shot, mate.
104?
Yeah, which is, to be honest, I'm quite impressed with that, because previously you were sort of high 90s when you were first started here.
Yeah, I've definitely been, I'm someone who's actually been not actively working on speed per se, but certainly worked on technique.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like you're chipping it. And what was that?
104.
Yeah, that's nuts, isn't it? That's quite a crazy difference, isn't it?
Well, I don't know, because it doesn't look, because when you're swinging, it doesn't look crazy. I don't know, in the comments, let us know. Did it look crazy high effort when Tom was swinging? It doesn't. When you watch yourself on camera, you go, God, it looks so slow. I look like I'm trying so hard. Looks slow.
But I was trying hard then, and I feel like because your max speed is a lot quicker, to me, it looks like you're just doing a little turn and a flick. For me, I feel like body, sequence, everything there has to be good. For me to get to 104, 105, I've had to work to get to that speed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's 105%. That's what it feels like to me to get there. Like, I'm not chipping that.
You're right. That is your max effort, and that's not for me. But I've speed trained for a long time. I've learned how to generate speed, and even though I'm not a big strong guy, like, I've just learned how to generate speed through technique and all that sort of stuff, really.
Yeah, you're a prime example of someone who creates a lot of speed with what looks like quite low effort. I think you use your levers really well. So you're maximizing your athletic ability to create a lot of speed. Like, you would probably have to, if you wanted to get faster, you'd have to probably go and get stronger, more flexible.
Yeah.
Like, if I could probably still get faster within my frame if I got better with more sequencing improvements and technique.
Touching off that, this driver obviously does spin quite a lot, right? That was a little bit low in the head, but so earlier I swung 96 with the Elite, and it carried 230.
Yeah.
Just swung 104 with that, and it carried 230.
Yeah.
Because the spin was 3.8.
Exactly. That just goes to show, doesn't it? Like, if you want to hit it past your mates, first thing you got to do is optimize what you got.
Yeah.
Because you could have hit it past me, or pretty similar to me, with your sort of Elite earlier, with a more optimized delivery and the more optimized equipment, with close to 10 miles an hour difference in club head speed.
Yeah.
So if you went and then added that 10 miles an hour and kept that same level of consistency on delivery, like, you're in it miles past me now. There you go. That's pretty good.
There's a couple of mil high in the face, to be fair.
But that's more your that looked more like your ball flight.
Yeah.
Like a bit of a hot draw. Yeah, so there you go. 14 launch, 2,000 or just under 2,100 spin, 142 efficiency. Still a bit low on efficiency, to be fair, mate.
It was high in the face. Like, I know that only shows 3 mil, but it was definitely a little bit high in the face.
Yeah, and that definitely kicks that down, doesn't it? So yeah, 265 carry though. So it's pretty significant.
Yes.
So if you're kind of like looking at, okay, I've maxed out at my 95, I'm doing everything right, I've got the right equipment. Okay, if I can put on 5-10%, get to 100, maybe even to 103, 104, like, you can definitely be kicking that distance up significantly. And I think if you're carrying at 230 on the golf course at the moment, and you can go to 255, 260, that's a very different golf course.
It is, yeah. And
you know, you're hitting wedges in where you were hitting mid-irons probably.
And we were saying a minute ago, like, it's absolutely, I see so many people coming and saying, I'm too old, I can't gain speed. I believe, unless obviously, you know, you've got any, you know, disabilities or whatever, like, okay. But most people who are fairly healthy, even if they are a bit older, genuinely, I do believe they can gain at least 5 mile an hour, maybe even 7-8 mile an hour.
Yep.
With the correct technique. And I think so much of it is technique as well, getting in the right position to allow the club to accelerate through impact. So many people we know, we get a bit over the top, we get a bit steep, and then we've got to kind of make compensation.
Have to stall.
So many of that is technique. So even just getting in the right position to allow that speed to go through impact makes such a big difference. And then just letting it happen. Yeah. People are so afraid of just letting the club go.
Got to let it go.
Yeah.
I'd say the biggest thing I learned when I was trying to get quicker was I'm someone who just holds on for too long and just never let the club go.
Yeah.
You know, and that is so slow.
Yes.
It's so slow. You've got to let go to get more control, if that makes sense,
100%.
to some extent. And obviously, you know, we're talking a little bit about gaining speed, and I think you've got to do it in the right circumstances. You've got to make sure your body is healthy and that you can withstand any speed training.
Yeah.
Personally, in my own journey, I did a lot of speed sticks. I did the stack system, and I found that actually I would get a little bit quicker, not massively. My biggest gains have come from technique.
Yeah.
So working it out.
Yeah.
Sort of going to the range, hitting balls in here on quad, working out what makes you go faster. And I would say my fastest swings come now from when I'm like trying to emulate your swing in a little way. Yeah. I try and get longer and looser and more relaxed.
Yes.
As soon as I get tense, I get short, snatchy, and it's slow.
Yes.
So actually, I'm trying to feel less effort to create more speed.
Yes.
Because to me, less effort is longer, more fluid, and more soft in all of my muscles, if that makes sense.
I did a video on that not that long ago. I think it was a short, but yeah, it was like I was doing the same thing. You try and figure it out, and that's the number one thing I would say about speed sticks and stuff's great, but there ain't a ball there.
Yeah.
Like, so as soon as you don't have to make these compensations because there's not a ball there, and people go, "Oh, I could do it in the practice swing." You say, "Yeah, it's not a ball there." Yeah. Like, if you make any bad moves in your swing, your brain's going to go, "Can't do that. Have to compensate, otherwise you're going to miss the ball." Yeah. So it's all good being able to swing without a ball there. Have to be able to do it with a ball there, which where the technique comes in to enable you to unleash the speed. But you're right, like for me, being long and laggy and whippy, like smoother is faster. Like, if I find I get quick from the top, loses me so much speed. If I find I get quick going back, loses me so much speed. I know so many other people have done videos about quick back, quick through. Yeah. I 100% lose speed if I do that.
Same.
And I know that for a fact.
Same.
So if I'm slow, laggy, load, then go, you can get just as much, if not more speed. So yeah, in my opinion, don't get quick, don't get snatchy. In my experience, it is the same. Long, languid, fluid, release, let it go, speed it up.
Come on, and let's see one at your full speed. Come on, I know you want to show off.
Well, let's see. Well, no, let's see. I'll do like a smooth, faster one.
Okay, good.
Not trying to kill it, but
no. So your normal, long, languid, loose, just to show a bit of a demo of where you can get to at 5'4" with 120 pounds.
So again, it's 114, right?
And there we go. Look, that's a baby fade.
Yeah, it was a bit low heel, 3,000 spin. It's interesting as well, like how that just changes because you go from 104. Again, my delivery, it was a bit low heel. I did change my swing a little bit there, in all fairness. Didn't help as much. But again, all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, well, that's spinning way too much. Again, need a different driver and all this kind of, But yeah, that languid kind of load drop, just let the club accelerate from there to there and just feel it right, actually let it go. That's low effort 114.
Yes.
And I'm like a beanpole. So if I can do it, there's a hell of a lot of other people out there that can do it as well.
Exactly that. That's a good place to end.
So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that and learned a thing or two. A little bit of fun there at the end. I mean, all of you guys that have been following me for a while know that I can generate quite a lot of speed and distance for my sort of size and build. So if you're interested in me making a video around that, sort of me and Tom chatting through swing speed ideas and how I feel like I can generate the most sort of speed and distance for my size and build, then let me know in the comments below, and I'm more than happy to make that video. And if you have any questions about today's video, please do post them in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to get back to as many of you as I possibly can. And as always, thank you guys so much for the support, staying tuned, subscribing, helping us grow and supporting our business here at EP. So many of you come in for fittings to see me and Tom, and it's absolutely amazing. The distances some of you guys travel is just phenomenal. So thank you for all the support. A lot of you following us on Instagram, seeing behind the scenes, that the expansion and stuff that we're trying to do and what we're trying to build here at EP, and all of that is possible because of your guys' support. So thank you so much for that. Stay tuned. We've got loads more to come, and I'll see you in the next one.